Well, hello and welcome to Discovering the World of Natural Health. I'm your host, Claiborne Holtzman. Today is April the 26th, a beautiful Monday. You know, it's kind of cool. It has to do with what I have chosen for our topic for today. I'm talking about summer and getting ready to make changes and what we got to do, our body is asking for during the summer. And I thought about this morning, and it was almost like cool enough, or you could wear a little bit of jacket, sweater. The heat even came on, and here it is in the afternoon, and it's almost like jacket's got to go, and it's a little bit warmer than natural. Maybe it's a short sleeve day instead of a long sleeve day. But think about it, in your life and your health and what we have to choose to do. How many changes do you have to make and adapt to in order to be able to let our bodies, our mind, our souls, our spirit be what it needs to be and when it can be? It is absolutely phenomenal for us to be able to do that. So I suggest we sit back, we deal with the issues we're going to talk about for today, and hopefully they will fall on the ears that I am speaking to make a difference in how you live and what you do. So by that I mean, what can I do with olive oil? What can I do with honey? And helping to have my body be able to have a better quality of life with those items. And let's go to, and I'm going to go back and just going to share with you. I realized on some of the other things I need my head up a little bit more, and so like everybody's, what are you trying to do? Everybody knows you're bald-headed fella. Don't be showing it off. Okay, olive oil. Did you know olive oil is for breast cancer? Well, what in the world does olive oil have to do with breast cancer? You have any question? Question about that? I did, and I said, what does it mean? And so I go, and then I look up, and it says, the kind of fat that you eat should make a difference, or could make a difference. In the Mediterranean countries, the total fat intake is as high as in the United States. So, kind of like I slurred that one, but where did it go? Okay. The total fat intake is as high as in the United States. Okay? Yet, breast cancer rates are lower. That could be because the main source of fat for people there is olive oil, which is a unsaturated fat. Some studies have found that olive oil is slightly protective against breast cancer. So, a positive thing. And you notice they very reluctant to come out and say, it is absolutely against breast cancer. It come up and says, olive oil is slightly protective against breast cancer. Okay. While there are no clear answers on how fat affects breast cancer, eating low fat is still a healthy choice. So it's a positive thing. It's a thing reaching out to you and me to say, let's make a difference in a little bit. Let's pick up the penny off the ground and hold on to it, because pennies make quarters, it make dollars. Pennies make dollars. There's always saving a penny is more than a penny earned. But in this day and time, most people say, penny? Nah, don't worry about it. Don't need no change. And don't look at the value of little things that we do or don't do. Fat is still a healthy choice. Limit your intake of saturated fats, which most come from animal products such as butter, red meat, and whole milk. Try to use oils low in saturated fats such as olive oil, and it also recommends canola, not candida. That's a different story altogether. Okay, and the other thing that really helps us understand, think about your diet. How much fiber is in your diet? How much of it is bulkiness and being able to have what you need there? So filling your plate with fiber instead of fat could also protect you from breast cancer. Lower estrogen levels are associated with a reduced risk of breast cancer, and research shows that fiber reduces circulating estrogen levels in premenstrual menopausal women, although it may not reduce the already low levels of estrogen in postmenopausal women. You can increase your fiber by eating more fruits and vegetables. Also believed to be protective against breast cancer, whole grains offer another good source of fiber. Most studies have found that fiber from whole grains is slightly protective against breast cancer, but some studies have found no effect. Either way, it will help with the Popey fairy visiting to get rid of things and have a good elimination. And that's another subject altogether that we need the transit time. You know, from the time you put it here till it comes out back there. Try to get rid of it in 24 hours. How do you know your transit time? Very simple. Eat some corn. Corn, take it and look at it. I had corn today at 5 o'clock. Okay? Next time I have a bowel movement, look behind me and see if any of that corn is in the stool. And if it is, it's your transit time. The longer we keep stuff inside of us is the same as if we keep the trash can in the house full of stuff. Okay? The more chance we have it of stinking and having a problem. So get rid of it. Get rid of it. Okay, that's the one thing I want to talk to you about olive oil. Olive oil for high blood pressure. Let's go to page 168. And here we go again. Discover the Mediterranean way. Eat less fat. The experts say, but you have your fat within reason, yeah. To lower your blood pressure too, if you eat like they do in Greece and southern Italy, a recent study found that people who replace some of the saturated fat, like cream and butter and cheese, they got it out of the diet with extra virgin olive oil, lowered their blood pressure significantly. Some were able to cut down on their blood pressure medicine or stop taking it altogether. So, in other words, why are you taking the blood pressure medicine? What is contributing to the body not being able to do that it should do, and that the olive oil can make a difference? Here's something you need to understand. I'm just sitting back, kicking, chilling. It's good. But according to the American Institute of Cancer Research, olive oil is only a small part of healthy eating in that part of the world. People in the Mediterranean eat a huge variety of plants. So much so that people of Crete were once called mangafolia, which means leaf eaters. Mediterranean people eat very little red meat or packaged foods, plenty of fish and vegetables, and I know you were waiting for this one. Okay. Claiborne said, drink a little red wine. Y'all go ahead and get that. Y'all can finish that discussion later. Because variety is an important part of their diet. They eat small portions of many foods every day. The abundance of plant foods contribute lots of natural fiber, which has been linked to successful weight loss and good health. Who said a healthy diet had to be boring? It doesn't. You know, the thing about it is, we are what we eat, we are what we don't eat. Eat less, move more. Because what is happening with us in the United States of America, we have a tendency to sit down and enjoy and wonder why we end up being obese. And right now, it's important. If you eat right, I just say it's probably half the battle we think about. When it comes to lowering blood pressure, exercise provides the other half. A recent study found that diet and exercise provides not only lowering blood pressure, but also help maintain the lower readings during times of mental stress. You know, we don't think about it, but I'm going to give you the chance to think about it because I'm going to say it. We could lose as little as 3 pounds. No, that ain't right. That's too easy. That's too easy. Now, let's do a little bit better. How about if I said we could lose about 3% of our body's weight? If we do that, we can lower our blood pressure. If you weigh 200 pounds, you could have lower blood pressure after losing only 6 pounds. 6 pounds. But okay, let's don't stop at 6. Keep going until you reach your ideal weight. Once your doctor clears you for exercise, get started right away. Try brisk walking if you haven't exercised in a while. Swing the arms. Put a little bump in your step. As you tone up and slim down, you can ask your doctor about swimming, bicycling, and other forms of exercise. The other thing, we talk about it. Now, this was a conversation I've had today already. And the person was talking to about what we do and what we don't do. Well, the key to this is, and this is very important, if not to you, then just think about it for a moment. I believe we were created from the elements in the earth. Plants were there, and God needed someone to enjoy the cuisine He made for them. So He said, hey, let's go ahead and make man and woman. And He did. And He gave them a Garden of Eden to eat from. So, Get the right mineral mix. That little statement just now that I made was, if you have and produce back into your body in the amount and in the balance that it came from, that God created it from, then we should be well. It's just knowing. And it's our science that has to turn around and say, this is what you need of magnesium. This is what you need of potassium. This is what you need. So we can have the right mineral mix. While scientists disagree on whether a low-salt diet can lower blood pressure for everyone, you're probably getting a lot more of this mineral than you need. Try skipping on the salt for a while. It turns out that you're salt sensitive, your blood pressure should go down. And actually, if you're going to use it, use mineral salt. Don't use regular table salt. It doesn't have minerals in it, except what has been added back. Other minerals such as calcium, potassium, and magnesium may help lower blood pressure. Low-fat dairy products, such as, it's a good source of calcium. To get plenty of potassium, eat lots of fresh fruits, including avocados, bananas, figs, apricots, and cantaloupe. You can also use beans, black-eyed peas, oysters, avocados, and sunflower seeds are good sources of magnesium. And magnesium is important. Have it tested. The hardest part is shaking off the stuff that we do that we know we'd be better off if we didn't do. If you're worried about blood pressure, you can make some lifestyle changes to decrease it. Don't smoke. And if you drink, limit the alcohol. That means no more than 2 drinks a day for a man and 1 drink for a day for a woman. If you can manage to control your blood pressure without drugs, you'll save money, avoid unwanted side effects. Nevertheless, if you need to take medicine, don't hesitate. Get it done. High blood pressure can have deadly results. And new research shows it even affects our thinking skills. The other thing that I noticed is real hard, and that's having a sharp mind. And if we want to have a sharp mind, we've got to have foods that are rich in oxygen. To increase your powers of memory and concentration, keep your blood pressure under control. Okay. Shocking news about salt. I mean, let's talk about some of this stuff that we know that we talk about it, but we don't talk about it. I mean, you go get this French fries, and buddy, do the salt and spices. And it is good. No lie about it. And then also, what happens? We get addicted to it. Got to have a little extra shake of salt. For thousands of years, salt was a friend to man. People used it to keep meat, fish, and other foods from spoiling. And I remember in the smokehouse, I'd go see Uncle John, and Uncle John had those Beautiful. Hams hanging in there. Absolutely great bacon. Cut you off a slab and go to breakfast with it. And then we take in salt and put these things and pack them in salt and let the salt draw all the blood out and cure it. Good stuff. The laborers, they used to replace minerals lost through sweat. And then what happened was we had refrigeration, air conditioning, cable TV, and all these little gizzards and gadgets. And now we're not sweating. Salt is a mineral composed of calcium. Did I say calcium? No. Salt is composed of sodium and chloride. A sodium deficiency is harmful to your body, but very little diets are lacking in sodium. Your needs are small, about 500 milligrams a day, which is roughly 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. The average person eats closer to 4,000 milligrams of sodium per day. Maybe you've heard how salt triggers high blood pressure in people who are salt sensitive. High blood pressure is a serious problem since it often leads to heart disease and increasing our risk of early death. Scientists have found you can be salt sensitive without ever having high blood pressure. That means you are still at risk of dying from heart disease. But you won't have the warning signs of elevated high blood pressure, and being overweight makes your risk even greater. You know, it's because it's really hard to find out if you have salt sensitivity. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute recommends everyone cut back 2,400 milligrams of sodium per day, which is slightly more than 1 teaspoonful of salt. That might sound like plenty, but salt adds up fast, especially in processed food. Only 10% of dietary sodium comes from salt added to food at the table. So to reduce your salt intake, Americans should be careful about the sodium content in prepared, preserved, and processed foods. And not that I'm hitting on it at this very moment, but think about sugar as well. But food manufacturers know people like salt. That's why they've been slow to cut back, thinking you won't buy their food if you taste a little different. Fast food is even worse. If your favorite fast food Big Mac and fries, there's a one meal total of yearly 1,500 milligrams of sodium. If you want to avoid heart disease, you'll have to check nutritional labels carefully for sodium content and change the way you eat. But with a little patience, you can actually enjoy a low salt diet. You know, get stingy. Don't put as much on there. And I use a mineral salt. I don't use the table salt. I like what it does and how it works. It does a great job in getting the minerals to go along with it. When you cook, try using half the salt called for in the recipe. It might be possible to cut salt completely from your recipes. You always add a bit at the table, but don't salt your food automatically like some people do. at least taste your food first, and if you feel it needs something, here's how you can do it to get away from the salt shaker. I got a shaker that has garlic in it. I've got one that has vegetables in it. Herbamare. Good stuff. And it's better for you. And you can also, Mrs. Dash and Mr. Spike, a way to also deal with that. Fresh choices. Watch the extras. And one of the things that I would suggest in making sure that you ask when you go out to eat, when we get the luxury of going back out to eat and not worry about who's we're going to be sitting too close to, etc. Ask them what they do. Ask them, do they put MSG? If the things are prepared with salt. Eating out can be a challenge when you are on a special diet. Ask your waiter if the food you're ordering is prepared with salt or MSG, which is high in sodium. Many restaurants are able to cook your food the way you want it. Other sources on the side and used sparingly. So you just kind of get a way of looking at it. Does this help give you any information a little bit? I just want to spend some time on additives that cause weight gain. And it slips up on us. I tell you what's a real eye-opener. Go through some old, well, I'd say pictures, but you may need to go through a disc or a card that you've put up because the other one got filled up, and go back and check the photos that were taken and look at them and see what we're doing and what we're not doing. It's kind of just, we don't pay attention, and all of a sudden here we are. We got this stuff, and we got this overweight, we got a heart issue, we got a kidney issue, we got a leg issue. Why? What is it that we're not doing that we should be doing so we can have the way our Creator designed us to be, and just enjoy it? What can we do about it? A lot. How about we talk about, well, since we're a little bit on high blood pressure, let's talk a little bit about coffee. I just left that channel. I'm going to talk about coffee. They flipped the thing. Why'd you do that? It ain't going to hurt. It's just knowledge. And what's going to hurt is what you do or don't do. Some people can't imagine starting the day without a cup of coffee. How about a cup of Java? Others enjoy just an occasional cup. Oddly, the part-timers might be at greater risk. Swiss doctors found that drinking coffee, even decaffeinated, causes a big rise in blood pressure for people who usually don't drink coffee. While coffee stimulates the sympathetic nervous system in both groups, the usual coffee drinkers' blood pressure did not rise. Here's another food caution when it comes to coffee. Stay away from it in times of stress, if you have high blood pressure, or a family history of condition. It was back in the University of Oklahoma, showed that the combination of stress and caffeine sent blood pressure skyrocketing for these people. Even if you were a long-time coffee drinker, in some cases the blood pressure stayed high 12 hours after a single dose of caffeine. But we talk about that, and we talk about negative about coffee. How about if I shared with you something about coffee that has been proven? You ever get that dizzy feeling? I ain't talking about a blonde dizzy feeling. I'm talking about a dizzy feeling. Don't matter what kind of hair you got or if you got hair. While coffee presents risks for people with high blood pressure, it can be a big help in certain short-term situations. Here's an example. You eat dinner. Then you stand up from the table and feel a little lightheaded or dizzy. It's a fairly common occurrence because your blood pressure drops after meals. Your low blood pressure or hypertension may even cause you to faint. Get up slowly then, folks, from the table. Luckily, there's a simple solution. Drink a cup of coffee or tea right after your meal. And the caffeine will boost your blood pressure just enough to prevent those potentially dangerous symptoms. Exercising does the same thing, and a post-meal stroll is a good way for a younger person to ward off temporary drop in blood pressure. But if you're older, your best bet is to drink a caffeinated beverage first while you feel stable on your feet, then go for a walk. Excuse me there. How about that? Had you ever thought about that? Would that even crossed your mind? Maybe. That's another reason. This brain thinking right here. I'm thinking. Maybe a good reason to order pie and coffee after the meal, so we can make sure the caffeine gives us what we need, and that, well, in some cases, chocolate taste is okay. So we got an excuse for it now, folks. We've been wondering how to do that. That's how we do that. I tell you what. Okay, air pollution, licorice. Okay. Yeah, they said mellow out, put some music on, get some dust. So I was just, we can talk about folk remedies. If you went to an Asian herbalist asking for advice about high blood pressure, chances are he'd tell you to take 4 stalks of celery daily and call him in a week. Experts say the crunchy vegetable contains a chemical that can lower levels of stress hormones in your blood. This allows your blood vessels to expand, giving your blood more room and reducing the pressure. Good old folk remedies, they're good things. High cholesterol. Yeah. Yep. The heart's greatest enemy. Heart's greatest enemy is what? Saturated fat, found mainly in meats, full fat dairy products like cheese and butter and whole milk. It's the most dangerous fat because it raises your blood cholesterol and triglycerides, which increase your chances of clotting. If these are the things that are that way, Can we come to maybe an assumption that a lot of this stuff is just plain long doing it to ourselves? I think so. I think so. Because I believe we can get rid of or beat bad cholesterol with good nutrition. If we have bad cholesterol, then more than likely we got poor or bad nutrition. Let's change it. And so what does that mean? That means I've got to say a little more spinach, a little more carrots. Put them on my dinner plate. And they will help me have a better choice of the foods I eat. And my little body say, hey, you good old guy, you finally recognize me as I can't really do on that Southern diet. What they did was try lutein, a pigment found in green and yellow vegetables. They did a study of 480 middle-aged men and women for 18 months. During that time, those who had the most lutein in their bloodstream also no increase in thickness of neck arteries. A good sign. The bad LDL cholesterol had not oxidized its side when it formed a dangerous plaque that can lead to heart attack. They had two other parts of the study, one done in a lab with human tissue and the other with mice, supported the findings of the first. That by just doing lutein made a difference. There was a Dr. James Dyer who led this research, recommends eating plenty of lectin-rich foods, lutein, to keep your arteries clear. A rich diet in vegetables includes the dark green leafy variety, he says. He says, if you do that, it will produce sufficient lutein to achieve the levels of persons in our study. One serving per day of foods like spinach, kale, collards, greens, turnip greens, romaine lettuce, broccoli, zucchini, corn, Brussels sprouts, and peas. All of those things were put together, and I got to think about it. Yeah, we love them collards, but what do we put on there? We put fat with them collards. And they got to be just seasoned just right. I kind of offset some of that by saying, okay, I'm going to use a little bit of cayenne pepper on my collards. Therefore, that'll give me better circulation, and it will keep my arteries open, So I'm going to use cayenne pepper to go right along with that wrong fat that's used. No, but if you're really serious. But I'm saying this, and that's what we do. What we do. Vegetable rich in beta carotene are probably protective against some cancers, but beta carotene supplements are toxic. The supplements, since the risk of lutein supplement haven't yet been determined, we suggest you stick to the vegetables. Okay, that makes sense. Lutein is just one way to use your diet to protect your heart. There are some additional nutrients that will help keep your cholesterol in check and add to your fight against a number of other diseases as well. Want to talk about some basic things that we need to do? Just talk about some basics. You know, and these are things that help us have a better quality of life and health. Magnesium. According to the experts, most people get less than half the magnesium they need daily, and the consequences can be dangerous. Studies have linked magnesium deficiency to increased cancer risk, especially esophageal. Adding this mineral to your diet could lower your cholesterol by as much as 1/3. And one supply found that giving magnesium to people immediately after a severe heart attack cut their death rate in half during the critical 4 weeks following the attacks, when compared to heart attack victims who did not receive magnesium. Just something that, have your doctor check, see if it's for real. The recommended daily allowance for magnesium is 420 mg for men and over 30, and 320 for women over 30. To reach this level, eat at least 5 servings of fresh or minimal processed fruit and vegetables daily. Avocados, sunflower seeds, pinto beans, spinach, oysters, broccoli are especially good sources of this mineral. The other thing is vitamin E. So we talked about magnesium, now we're talking about vitamin E. This fat-soluble vegetable may not lower cholesterol levels, but like lutein, it can prevent the LDL cholesterol from becoming oxidized and sticky to your arteries. In one study, men who took at least 100 international units of vitamin E daily at least 2 years had 37% fewer heart attacks than men who did not take the supplement. And a separate study found that women who took vitamin E supplements had 41% fewer heart attacks. So we're talking about, help it in there. Get it in the system so it's not as sticky and it can be processed properly for the body to be able to use. The transportation system. Vitamin C is another antioxidant vitamin that helps prevent LDL cholesterol from becoming oxidized. Unlike vitamin E, vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, which means it isn't stored in your body. So you gotta take it, or eat foods that are high in it. Niacin, B vitamin, so well to lower cholesterol, doctors prescribe it as a treatment. However, high doses can cause itching, flushing, rash, stomach pain, as well as more serious side effects such as ulcers, liver damage, and symptoms of diabetes. To get your niacin naturally, what would you eat? Tuna fish, chicken livers, or chicken liver, salmon, potatoes, and beans. So, you want to maintain healthy weight, increase physical activity, limit the sugar and white breads, eat more whole grains, eat sweets and minimal in the diets, reduce the fats, the saturated fats. You know, how we talk about fake fats. You know, the book told me, says, Claiborne, make sure you spread the good news about fake fats. I said, okay, what are we talking about? You may love buttered toast for breakfast, but you know it's not exactly a healthy way to start your day. Of course, choosing whole grain bread will give you a good dose of cholesterol-lowering fiber, but butter is high in saturated oil, or fat, and a fat of trans fatty margarine may be even worse. You know, confession time. I eat the butter. I do not eat margarine, period. Fortunately, your supermarket dairy case holds a couple of highly alternative, according to National Institute of Health, and I'm not familiar with the brand it said here, but try to do fast food restaurants aren't rushing to replace their artery clogging fats with their substitute. Until they do, go easy on the burgers and the fries. Try to eat more meals at home where you can take advantage of healthy fat substitute. Folks, if you ain't learned by now, after a whole year being told to stay home and don't go nowhere to eat, something wrong. Okay, let's do another folk remedy. Got it? Let's do it. Europeans have used artichokes for centuries for all sorts of illness, including those of the heart and the blood. Scientists now know that your ingredients in artichoke, called cymarin, cymarin, helps lower cholesterol. In fact, cymarin, cymarin, extract is currently used in cholesterol-lowering drugs. Glory. Why not go straight to the source for a great taste that can lower your cholesterol? Add artichokes to your plate a few times a week. Just watch what you dip the leaves in. A rich buttery sauce will do their cholesterol more harm than good. Try a yogurt-based dip instead. Ah, Lord, I love it. How about you? You know, if you haven't been, I got a beautiful compliment about the cafe and the pizza that was served to someone that loved it very well. Got that accolade coming to the TV station. And check out a store that's trying to reach out and help you make choices that are better on the playing field. What do you want? When do you want it? How much? How little? But you know the store here, Remedy This Naturally, right there, 1140 Bienvenue Road, wants to make a difference in what you're doing and what you're not doing. I spend the time we have on this show today on April the 26th talking about heart, healthy heart, what can you do, what shouldn't you do But most of all, the whole concept of this show is try to make a difference in how we make our choices. I love my old books. You know, we didn't even get into today. I got rambling on about the olive oil and then all the different things about the cholesterol, heart attack, heart disease. And I guess more important to me, first of all, would be the honey. Second is the vinegar. And third, the olive oil. And I can remember when I went to the Mediterranean and they would bring you your bread, which is very hard on the outside, very moist on the inside. And then they bring you a bowl of olive oil. And it was kind of like, that's what you had, olive oil and bread. It was good. Good olive oil, good time to be in the Mediterranean. And I also enjoyed, we got off the ship, we went into the home, into the port, and the businesses there. And in front of the restaurant, this was cool, was an aquarium. That's what I'm going to call it, kind of like a big aquarium. And the fish were in the aquarium. You chose which fish you wanted to eat, pick it up, they take it to the back, and the chef would ask you how you want it, and they'd bring you back your freshly chosen, kind of like we do here. You know, you go to Red Lobster, a place like that, and the lobsters are in the thing, and you pick your lobster and they go cook it right then. This was didn't have to have refrigeration to keep the fish because it was fresh. And absolutely great tasting fish at the time. And the other thing, while I was there, I walked to a little church area there, and in the back there was a gentleman, and he had his bucket, and he was picking olives off the olive trees. So we went back and we had conversation, and I just learned how you could just say, okay, this is what I'm getting. I'm taking my own olives and have a taste of them. Kind of neat. So the idea behind Remedy This is for you to be able to have a place to go. Check out the contract post office and do your postal services there. We'd love to have you do that. Then the cafe, check it out. Find out what you need to do to get online to check it out, and see if you can follow through. I did not bring the brochure that I need in front of me to give you that information. So give Remedy This Naturally information and say, hey, look, I need where do I need to learn about the talk each day about a certain herb and watching it. It's kind of cool. And then what fascinates me probably most in the store at Remedy This Naturally are the bulk herbs, where you have your different leaves and stems, and you know, if I want some fresh cinnamon, we can get it. If I want to take in, have some alfalfa, some burdock, dandelion, all of these things there, we can enjoy those right on the shelf, waiting to be weighed for what you want to do to make your own remedy. I like that more than anything else, because I will get something I have a question about, and I will start asking, okay, which supplement, which herb has been known to have a historical use of pain, anything, double your offense against any osteoporosis. You know, why does it have to get that far? What is it that we can do to make it have a go away symptom? It's very important to do that. So, challenge to do that. Remedy This National, 1140 Bienvenue Road. Got some new things coming down the pike. It's an exciting times in the natural healing aspect of it. We've had so much fear, gloom, agony, defeat, saying that we need to just shut down and stay home. Thank God He wins in the end. It really is. So with that in mind, thank you for letting me chat with you for a while. I hope it was beneficial. If not, and there's some topics you would like, give us a call at Remedy This National. We'll be happy to share it with you. Until we meet again, God bless you richly. I'm Claiborne Holtzman from Remedy This Naturally. God bless.